Hey guys, it's Brendan from Heartbreaker Guitars, and today we've got something really special from Rick Turner Guitars. Okay folks, welcome to the Heartbreaker Guitars YouTube channel. My name is Brendan Smith. This is Zach Jones of Rick Turner Guitars. Zach.
Hi Brendan.
Thanks for coming, man.
Thank you very much for having me out here for this.
You bet. And this, as you all know, is Toby the Beagle, keeping us company as we do our videos here. Anyway, today we are talking about the Rick Turner Model 1 Classics Limited Edition that are available through Heartbreaker Guitars.
Absolutely. We're really excited to do this collaboration with you all this year.
I can tell you this, I've never seen a blue Model 1 before.
It's striking, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't see this enough, and we're really excited to be able to embrace just out there colors for what the instrument is. And this is just a transparent blue on the mahogany, but it's such a striking look with the Model 1 that we're really excited about.
So the Model 1 Classics, we are building 10 of, or I should say you are building 10 of.
Yeah.
And let's show them a couple of the colors that are going to be options.
Absolutely. So we have right here, this is the red equivalent for this run, and it's a little bit brighter of a color than we're used to seeing on the Lindsay guitars. Those kind of get this rich burgundy color, whereas this has a bit of a bright cherry or merlot sort of a color to it that really works with the ivoroid binding on this instrument. You know, contrast is such a key thing and a visual for an electric guitar, and having the bright colors, the visuals, combined with the really accentuated profile that you see from the ivoroid binding on these instruments, it really just makes these colors pop.
It does indeed. We're going to go to a couple sound samples with Jace with these, but first, before we do that, let's talk a little bit about the electronics and the piezo and what's it equipped with?
Sure. So this is our what we're seeing here is two sort of slightly different versions of how we're going to be doing this run. There's 10 instruments total, and half of them are going to have the piezos equipped with them. So the Model 1, which is this control right here. So this control is a balance that lets you blend between the magnetic pickup and the piezo system that is embedded in the bridge. So you can walk into your purely electric sounds, you can have your purely acoustic sound, and you can kind of find yourself right in the middle where a lot of dynamics from attack and just a different sort of palette to an electric guitar, sonically and tonally speaking, is available to a player. That's not to compromise the instruments without the piezo, but it's one extra feature that we see with the Model 1 a lot that we're really excited to see going forward on these particular guitars.
Okay, so Zach, you and I had conversations about this in the past. You know, inflation is ridiculous. Gas is out of control, especially in California.
Especially in California.
The economy is just a little rough right now. And what's happened is people have less money and the price of goods are going up. Guitars are no different.
Yeah.
You know, I remember I bought my first custom Model 1 back like in =99, and it was like $5,000, but it had every upgrade possible. Now that same guitar selling like for $8,000–9,000.
We're a boutique guitar company building a boutique guitar, and we put a lot of attention and a lot of work into all the details that you see from the main Model 1 flagship instrument that we do, and like we're used to seeing with Lindsay do. So as the world has changed and the cost of production of all of our instruments has changed, we're being conscious of that. We're being conscious of how we can create a more accessible guitar that allows us to branch out and see new musicians embrace Rick's guitars and the Model 1 in particular in this case.
Yeah.
So we're building a guitar that is a little more simplified in the aesthetic department compared to what you're used to seeing from Lindsay and what you're used to seeing from the Model 1 Deluxes and our flagship model. So in this example, this guitar is built principally out of mahogany. So we always do a mahogany body with the Model 1s. It's a clamshell where we run a long piece of wood through the like a radiusing planer that we then cut in half and fold over, and that's what makes the clamshell. And in these particular instruments, we're doing that same general construction, and we're just applying mahogany to the neck, to the heels, as well as to the peg heads and the entire instrument. It allows us to keep costs down. It allows us to have a simpler aesthetic that doesn't take as much time and labor that translates to the cost of the instrument.
Right. Now, you're introducing these new colors, which are awesome, but if you are more of the traditionalist and you want something that looks like, more of the Lindsay or the natural look, we're going to be offering those colors too. So I think that's one you have in your hand there, natural,
that's
isn't it?
what this one is right here. So this is just the natural finish. This is a clear finish on it, hard gloss. And you see the mahogany, the grain work really come through. Mahogany is a beautiful wood. It has a rich color to it. It's really great to work with and has been always a natural combination for this guitar. So we're going to be doing it in natural as well. It still has the ivoroid binding that comes across, and again, you see the profile of the Model 1 so clearly with the ivoroid binding, and then having that contrast with the blue and the red and the natural. And we're also going to be doing purple and orange, and we're going to introduce and see a variety of colors to these instruments. So we're really steering into that classic method of how do you create different aesthetics for the guitars. And well, we're just going to paint them, and we love doing it. It's really exciting. I know our finish department is super thrilled to be able to do a variety of colors.
Okay, so in a nutshell, in terms of differences between the classics and the much more customized ones I was talking about before, so there's no back binding.
No back binding.
There's no 5-layer laminated neck.
Correct.
And they're using the custom colors.
Right, we're using custom colors. And then there's also small accents to the deluxes where you see the back strap and kind of a unique stacked heel and things like that. These are things that you're going to appreciate if you're an owner of that instrument, but they don't translate to the guitar's performance and the sound.
It's got all the...
These instruments have everything that you need. These instruments have the exact bells and whistles to concisely communicate what the Model 1 is as a musical instrument. The pickup and the electronic system is a system that's paired perfectly with the Model 1 through its whole history. And as you experience this from a player, you'll find that translates perfectly to you on these classics. And it's really an embracing musical experience.
Yeah. Well, okay, I hear you guys out there. I know you want to hear it. So if you don't mind, Zach, let's go to Jason for a quick demo.
Let's get some music.
Okay, that was awesome, Jace. Okay, so the humbucker and the piezo both sounded great. They both had their signature tone, but I want to get into the EQ, and then I want them to hear the EQ. What is the story with the parametric EQ, and how does it affect tone?
Sure. So that was one of the ways that Rick applied an expansive tonal palette to the Model 1 when it was initially conceived. From the very beginning, the Model 1 has had a semi-parametric equalizer equipped as on board. So normally when you're playing a guitar, you have volume and tone, and the tone is just pulling out some high frequencies. So what the Model 1 allows you to do is when you activate the equalizer, you introduce gain, boost, and cut, and then you introduce a sweep. So that allows you to emphasize your low frequencies, emphasize your high frequencies, pull out low frequencies, scoop your mid-range, and boost your mid-range. And boosting your mid-range is, especially with an electric guitar amp, really going to be an experience that's like having an overdrive or a dirty boost like on board on the guitar. And the equalizer is a master EQ, so you experience it with the piezo and with the magnetic pickup simultaneously.
Jace, let's check out that EQ and hear how that sounds. Okay, so Zach, I want to ask you questions that we get all the time from our Turner customers and see what you have to say. So one of the things people ask us all the time is what ePay is, the fretboard fingerboard here,
right?
And why do you use it?
Yeah, so Rick started using ePay when some new restrictions were put on shipping rosewood internationally that have since been rescinded, but we really find that we like it. So ePay is often referred to as Brazilian walnut as well. It's a South American wood, and it's extremely rot, bug, and water resistant. We see it in Santa Cruz a lot in like marine decking and things like that, and it's an extremely durable, dense lumber that's closer to an ebony than a rosewood, but kind of has this nice brown, rich chocolate color to it. We really like it. It's really consistent from board to board, and is really an effective and useful lumber for us to continue using for the fingerboards. It's all the things we like about a nice premium hardwood, with a little more moderate of an aesthetic, a little more classic of a look to it with the brown color. So we've been using ePay for a number of years, and we're a huge fan of it at Rick Turner Guitars.
And what kind of tuners we got going here?
We got Gotos. So Gotos have been a classic tuner that we've seen on Model 1s for many, many years. I've seen these on instruments going into the 80s. And so we're going to be using closed gear Goto tuners on this series of Model 1s.
Okay, next question. People are always asking about the rotating pickup.
Right.
It's something most people have never seen before.
It's extremely unique.
Yeah, explain this.
Yeah.
And is there any function in the rotation to it? Tell us about it.
It's a level of customizing that you get as the player to revoice this instrument that is particularly unique for a single pickup guitar. Single pickup instruments, you kind of get locked into a voice sometimes that doesn't just exist with the controls. So in the case of the Model 1, from the original inception of the guitar, Rick designed a humbucker specific for this guitar that has a really full dynamic sound. It's not just dark and muddy, it's not just bright and snappy. It kind of lives sort of in this wide swath in between. And then when you loosen the bolt on the back of the guitar with the same tool that controls your truss rod, it allows you to loosen this bezel so that you can actually turn the pickup and revoice this pickup in a variety of different ways to suit your player preferences. We see Lindsay, who's the classic example of this player, he always sort of has the treble strings with the point that way. And this allows you to customize things in a way that works best for you. I personally like when the Model 1 pickup is kind of kicked with the side of the treble strings towards the bridge. It gives you a little extra snap, and then you can kind of dig into your low strings in a different way. So it's a level of customizing that you as a player is immediately enabled to. It works simultaneously with the EQ so that you have this really wide palette that you can paint with a fairly concise system for an electric guitar. And then additionally, we build these guitars with a coil tap. So you don't just have a humbucker. If you pull the tone pot, you do have a single coil functionality to this instrument as well.
Got it. Okay, let's go to a quick sample with Jace. Why don't you show us how to rotate that humbucker and how it sounds? You know, Zach, I didn't get a chance to really ask you, but it's been, I guess, about a year and a half now since Rick's passed. How's the crew? How's morale? And how are things just around the shop?
Well, so we lost Rick in April 2022, and it's been a really huge transition for all of us. We're all learning how to kind of stand on our own feet as luthiers and to all contribute to make sure that we're keeping this legacy and this company surviving. We're reminding ourselves that our livelihood is through our own hard work. And I think that our crew has learned what that means as individuals and as a team in our own different ways, but we're going strong. And I feel like we're really going into 2024 with a strong foot forwards, where we really want to see these instruments being built to the absolute best way they can. We really want to see our own creative ideas applied to Rick's guitars with his respect, because Rick was always welcoming us to try new things, to experiment, to venture out in new directions. And that's not just limited to us. Now, you can go back 50 years and you can meet luthiers that started their careers because of how Rick impacted them. So I think we're doing pretty good. We're all learning how to get along with that extra dynamic that is different now than it was 2 years ago. But we've brought new people onto the team. We've maintained a lot of old familiar relationships. A lot of Rick's friends have come out to really help us, and so has the family. And we're really grateful that we've continued to get to know each other as friends, as a team, as workers and builders and employees that all are collaborative. Because these guitars are an expression of who we are now. These guitars that are before you are an expression of wanting to see instruments continue to new hands to hear new music. We like different music than Rick liked. Rick liked different music than we like. And we want to be able to see all of these roads join together.
Yeah. Well, you know, one of the highest compliments I can pay you is, you know, quality control over the past year plus has been outstanding. So thank you for keeping your eye on the ball on that. I mean, the guitars, the customers are loving them.
Excellent.
I mean, you guys were extremely active when Rick was around anyway, building guitars. He was just always there overseeing operations and whatnot.
And you'd be surprised the kind of things that Rick could say, that's just fine, and we would just leave it at that. But now it's up to our own devices. Now it really is scrutinized from our own eyes.
Yeah.
And so we really want to make sure that the instruments that we're building don't just ride on a legacy, are really representative of what top-tier lutherie can be and a historic precedence. Rick was considered by a lot of folks to be the father of boutique lutherie, and so now we're kind of in this line of descendants where we are trying to be stalwarts and we are working as hard as we can to make sure that people see that these guitars are as nice as these guitars have been through history.
You know, you said something interesting to me, that you want to see these guitars in the players out in the world, the professionals out there. And there's one name that came to mind that I thought that this guitar was built for, and that's the Edge from U2.
Sure.
You know, because he's such an experimentalist, you know. He's always trying new pedals and new sounds, and, you know, the ultra-layered multi-track tone that he gets. Don't you think one of these belongs in his hands?
I think that it would be an exciting thing. I think that it would be really exciting to see a musician like the Edge embrace the Model 1. I find consistently with the Model 1 and with Rick's guitars that musicians that are thinking progressively and creatively are the ones that embrace them the most and can really take them to the next stage of both performance and musical creativity. A musician like the Edge would be a wonderful collaboration to see him do this. I would like to see, you know, classic musicians I grew up with, like Mark Knopfler, trying these instruments out. But really, I'm always excited to see what new musician is going to try one of these instruments and create something that we're unfamiliar with. I know that I always like to fill myself with music that I haven't experienced before, and I like to fill myself with guitars and musical instruments that I haven't experienced before, and those are things that can always work together. We really want to see these being embraced by new people and by folks that have a long established history that are still willing to create something new. It was exciting to see John Mayer play one of these, and he actually recorded a couple songs on a Model 1 too. And then I've seen them in the hands of, who was the guy from Men at Work, Colin Hay. Colin Hay. I've seen him play one, and then I've seen some Rennies working their way around. So yeah, man, for sure. It's exciting to see them in anybody's hands, you know, any new artist or somebody that's been around for a long time. We're always grateful for the prestige musicians that have played this guitar. We're eternally grateful for Lindsay. He has made this instrument a signature thing for himself. But I think that he would be one of the first people to tell you that this is a guitar that you can take personally. You can take this guitar personally. You can see it as a challenge to discover new musical directions, because every musician that's really embraced this Model 1 has become an identified musician of their own right with this guitar and with any other guitar. Well put. Well, Zach, thanks for coming out, man. Absolutely. It was an absolute pleasure. Coming all the way out from Santa Cruz, we appreciate that. Toby does too. I'm so grateful for Toby. Toby has truly kept this business afloat and going forwards. I'm really grateful to be out here. Thank you so much for letting us build these guitars for you and letting us have an opportunity to share what Rick's Lutherie means to us. Well, it's no accident that you guys are here. Myself and my sidekick, Jason, these are our favorite guitars. He owns one, I own one. They're inspirational instruments. And I don't care what your level of play is. These things are inspiring, they're fun, and there's a world of discovery behind these things. There really is. So anyway, thank you again. Thank you out there for watching. Let us know what you think of the Model 1. Oh, and by the way, little preview. You probably saw this Renaissance floating around up on the stage. We are going to be doing a video on the Renaissance classics next. So click the video below if you want to see that one. Anyway, without further ado, guys, thank you for watching. Zach, thank you. Toby, thanks. And we will see you guys next time. Jason, take it away. Bye.